Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm going to be walking through how to set up your product on SaaS Deals. So first, we're going to sign up. We're going to check our email to get our email link. This link will validate our email address, and then we're logged in. Now we're going to create a product name. This doesn't really matter. You can change this later. So I'll just call this SaaS Deals 1. Setup is complete. The dashboard is where you get dropped into. But we're going to head over to the settings page first. So I just disconnected my wallet to show what it looks like when you kind of first log in and you're not connected. So I have MetaMask installed already, but on the left-hand side, you can see the wallet's disconnected. So I'm going to click, this will pop up and you can connect with MetaMask. We can just see the address, the account balance, activity, and suggest transactions to approve. So obviously we don't share, store, or even get access to your private key. Only you have that. We just read your address and get we create transactions that you can then approve. So when you go to like mint an NFT or your NFT contract, we will approve, send that transaction for you to approve via MetaMask. So I'm going to go in here now and just kind of fill out these settings. I'm connected to a test network just for this demo, but on the left-hand side, this would say mainnet. Here's your address and here's my balance. So I'm going to fill out some of these fields. There's nothing too interesting in here. The NFT symbol is just sort of like almost like a ticker symbol, if you want to think of it that way, like for a stock price. So I'll put in our website here. I'll fill out the rest of these fields and we'll come back for the image. For the video, when you go to share on YouTube, you get this URL with this ID. Just want to put that ID in there. And then for the image itself, you can just drag and drop an image in here. This might take a few seconds to load. We're using IPFS and it just takes a little bit of time to propagate. This is a setting for your NFT login. So when you go to verify if somebody has purchased the NFT and they are the current owner of it, this is a configuration where you can limit the domain that is allowed to check if the user has that NFT. So some of these settings, it might be a little confusing. Actually, are shown to the user. Obviously, the website URL, the description. Some of these are actually attached to the NFT, like the image and the symbol and the website URL and maybe the description. And some of these are not. So like royalty, this is how much you will get paid every time there's a transaction. So if somebody buys the NFT and then wants to sell it later, you'll receive a royalty for that price. Don't worry about NFT attributes. You can add them if you want to. They're not required. And if you don't know what an NFT attribute is, then don't worry about it. But you can add attributes if you'd like to. And once this is ready, we can just hit save. We can configure the NFT login domain later. And at this point, we're ready to deploy our smart contract. So let's go ahead and deploy it. We're going to save the metadata first. We're going to build the contract. This is why you need some ETH in your wallet, is because when you go to create this contract, you create it and you have to pay the gas fees for it. This is not something that we control. This is paying the network to process the transaction and create the contract. So I'm going to go ahead and click confirm here. This is a test net, so it's pretty fast. It's a lot faster than the Ethereum mainnet. So you might have to sit on this page for a little bit. We are going to get a transaction hash, and then we're going to wait for a few confirmations. So we wait for a block or two to confirm it, and then we'll get the new contract address. And then once you see this woohoo, you're good to go. So we now have a contract address in here. And so if we wanted to actually go to Etherscan, this would be the actual contract. And so you'll actually see all your transactions here and who owns them, etc. So that's really it for when you're going to create the contract. You can adjust the NFT price at any time, and you can adjust your royalty at any time. What you can't adjust is the image. So be kind of sure that that's the image that you want representing your NFT, and then the symbol can't change as well. And once you're ready to list, you can just mark this as active and it will show in the marketplace. I might put something in there to approve it myself before, just to make sure everything's looking good and working correctly. Like, again, you should be on the main net, not on the test network. And that's really it for creating the actual NFT contract. And so now when somebody buys them, the reason that the platform owns the NFT contract is that when somebody buys them, an NFT, one of yours, they will pay us. Since we control the contract, will then mint the NFT. We pay that transaction fee and then we send it to the user. Otherwise, if you owned it, we would have to like ping you every time somebody bought one for you to mint it and then send it to them. It would just be like kind of annoying. So we currently have it set it up this way, but that may change in the future. So now on the marketplace page, this is where you can see the actual NFTs that you can purchase. And so you could view the site. Let's say these are 3 different companies. I could click on this particular one, buy now. So let me just prove I am connected to this second. This is my second account. And I can click buy now. And another little pop-up will come up. So now I'm actually just sending ETH to the platform. So this is your purchase price in Ethereum. When you do a mainnet transaction, it shows you the dollar amounts too, which is nice. So they're paying the Ethereum amount, the actual purchase price of the NFT plus gas fees, just because that's how Ethereum works. So I'm going to click confirm. So the transaction's sent. So once this payment is made to the platform, we will confirm and receive it. And we wait for 2 confirmations. Again, this is probably going to go like pretty quick on the testnet network. And then we wait for 2 confirmations. And once we receive those 2 confirmations, that's when the NFT is then transferred. The user can then close this window. And then when they go to my transactions, they can view this transaction. So again, this will say this is on a test net, but it will say success with this amount of block confirmations, the price they paid, which is really cool. And then it's from the contract address. This is from the contract address that you created to the purchaser. And you can also view the contract itself. And you can actually see now that there's been one that's been minted. This will reflect that one has been minted. So here was a mint NFT token tracker. Here is transfers 1. This holders will update in a second, but this is the transaction of the mint and the transfer. And once the transfer registers, this will show that my second address is one of the holders. And again, this is all like publicly verifiable too. So this is how you might implement the login with NFT. So if you view the documentation, if you're not a developer, this isn't going to make much sense to you, but send this part of the video to somebody who knows what to do with this. There are 2 main functions, login and connect wallet. Login will call connect wallet automatically. So you're basically just going to be calling this login function. This NPM package is a higher order component for React. So you just pop in your key and the contracts in here. It'll give you in this props, or it'll pass login as a prop. The login does not take any, it takes an optional array of contracts, but that's the only parameter that it will take. So if you want to pass your contracts in here, that's cool. If you want to do it dynamically, you can just pass it to login when you call this props login, and it will return the matches. So once we go into here, I'm back into my test wallet, the wallet that purchased I ended up purchasing 2. There are 2 NFTs that this account has that were purchased from this other account. And so when I click login with NFT, and by the way, under the hood, this is actually just using the NPM module. So I will sign that transaction. I did that a little quick. You can optionally configure what message you want to be sent here. And the user doesn't have to pay for this. They just sign the transaction. It just gives us a way to actually verify that they are the owner of the NFT. So once we sign that, and these are the two NFTs that this particular wallet owns. And if we go back now to our contract, so I'm going to go to our settings, contract address. If I log into my contract now, we see this was the contract creation. We see this here, and then we see two mint function calls. And in the token tracker, we can take a look and see that there are two transfers, one holder. So I am the holder. So when it's created a mint, it goes from nothing. It's created, right? So it's not from an address to, this is my address. If I go back into MetaMask, this will match my address. And I have token ID 1 and token ID 2. So this is actually a pretty cool page. You can see exactly who all the holders are of the NFT here. And then, of course, this NFT login just verifies that the particular wallet that is attached to in here in MetaMask is the one that owns the NFT. And with that, you can, once you get a match, and if any matches return, if you just pass in your one contract address, then that person should be considered authenticated. And you can, on the back end, do whatever you'd like to give them access to your product.